Hi everyone, I'm here to talk to you about some tips for your nutrition and how you can eat to function better throughout your day. I know that there can be a bit of confusion about what to eat, when to eat, especially, men versus women. I'm here to give you some little tips and tricks that I use to help me function at my best. Something that I really want to speak to you about is protein. You might have heard that word being thrown around quite a bit at the moment. You can find protein in different kinds of foods. There's different sources. So things like eggs, tofu, some cheeses, meat. Protein is made of amino acids, right? What happens is there's protein in these foods, and then when we eat them, our body breaks them down into amino acids and then rebuilds it into whatever it needs it to be, which is pretty cool. So it builds and repairs tissue, which a lot of you might already know, including muscles, skin, hair, nails, organs, tendons, ligaments. So super important for our body. To relate this back to everyday life, when you lift weights, you create tiny little muscle damage, and amino acids repair that damage and your muscles get stronger. So what does protein do? It builds and repairs tissue, it controls muscle growth, it helps with fat loss, it supports your immune system, and it also stabilizes your blood sugar. So that means that you stay fuller for longer and you don't have those afternoon crashes where you start snacking on things. Now, in saying that, protein is not the only thing that's a part of our diet. We've got fats, carbs, sugars, all that kind of stuff. So I guess it's just finding that right balance. Carbs are not the enemy, and I want to really make sure that you know that. We need carbs. Before I go to any training that I do, whether it's Reform Pilates, whether it's yoga, whether it's cycling, running, in the gym, carbs are your friend, okay? Before you train, your body likes quick carbs that are easy to digest, helps give you that energy, and then after you train, you can hit yourself with that protein. Not if, but when you're eating your protein, it's also very important to have fiber with your proteins to help your body digest the protein. Fiber could look like, for example, in the morning, if you have eggs, you might have some toast. If you have protein powder in a smoothie, you might add some oats to the smoothie. If you have a steak for dinner, you have some vegetables, some leafy greens. So just hot little tips to think about: what are you eating? Why are you eating it? What is it going to do for your body? A really common question that I get asked is, how much protein do I know to have? An easy one just across the board, men and women, I would say, think of your body weight, double that. So you want 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Not as easy as you think. Remember, 100 grams of steak isn't necessarily 100 grams of protein. You can use ChatGPT, you can use AI, you can use the internet. Look up how much protein is actually in things. For example, an egg might have like about 6 grams of protein. It's especially hard for females because usually we just generally eat less than males. In the mornings, I get up super early, and I'm sure you guys probably have kids to get to school. You've got all these things on. Everyone's got very busy, right? The night before, super easy. I boil the kettle, pop 6 eggs into the boiling water, and then I boiled some eggs for the morning. I just put the eggs back in the fridge, and then they're ready to go in the morning. I grab 2 or 3 eggs and I take them to work with me. Super easy, boiled eggs, great way to fit in some protein, great snack for on the go as well. Now, ideally you want to be getting your protein sources from whole foods. So that means, pieces of chicken or eggs or whatever it is. I'm pescatarian, so I find it quite hard to get my protein in that I need. So really easy way to do this. And especially if you're new to all of this information, buy some protein powder, okay? It doesn't have to taste horrible, I promise. It's a super easy way to hit a great start to your day with lots of protein in one go. I make my smoothie for the morning the night before. Super easy. Everyone asks me this every time I'm at work. What's in your smoothie? Banana. These are pretty green bananas, so maybe get some nicer ones. Banana. 2 scoops of my protein powder. Creatine, not essential, but a great addition. I put in some cacao powder just for flavor. Bit of honey, and maybe some oats. Zhuzh it all up with either milk or yogurt or water, and then you've got your smoothie ready to go in the fridge. Grab it in the morning, ready to go. You've got 40 grams of protein that you've started your day with already. Now, finally, I just want to touch on alcohol. I love a drink just as much as the next person, trust me on that one. But I just want to let you know, just so that you have all of the information, what happens in the body, what alcohol does to the body, and how it affects our body. There are 2 different types of fat that we hold in our body. There's peripheral fat, which you might know, as your belly. You can sort of see that one on your body. And then there's a slightly more dangerous one called visceral fat, and that's the fat that's stored right deep in the abdomen around all the organs. Just as a side note, you might look visually what we would call skinny, but you might have quite a high visceral fat percentage. So even though you look healthy, or what society has deemed as you to look healthy, you might have quite a high level of visceral fat, which is not healthy at all. Visceral fat raises the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and stroke. Strongly linked to a shorter lifespan. The reason I'm telling you this is because alcohol not only increases, your belly fat, it also increases your visceral fat. Now, if your goal is body composition change, perhaps you're trying to lose some weight, I want you to know that even if you only have 1 drink, for example, because you're being good, when we drink alcohol, because it is a poison to our body, your body prioritizes breaking down the alcohol that's in your system first. So this means that while you're metabolizing the alcohol, your fat burning completely stops. It also means that excess calories from the alcohol are stored as fat. The other thing is, in relation to what Fee sent you out last week about sleep, is that even one drink of alcohol, let alone, a whole night of drinking, can really affect your sleep. It reduces deep sleep and REM sleep. It increases the amount of wake-ups that you'll have in the night, increases your heart rate, and it spikes your stress hormone while it's trying to metabolize all that alcohol through the body, which essentially means you wake up the next day, even if you feel like you got, 8 hours, it probably isn't the best quality sleep. You've had a poor recovery. You probably have a lot of cravings for pretty average food the next day as well. Now, the final thing that I will say to you is, if you are a female and you are exercising in the morning, I don't mind what that exercise looks like, you need to be eating some food before you do that exercise. Men are different to women. Men burn fat when they fast in the morning. Women burn muscle. If you don't eat in the morning and you exercise, your cortisol level will spike even higher. Cortisol is the stress hormone. It means that in the afternoon you will have that really big energy crash. Please, 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 all my ladies that are watching this, please eat something before you move your body in the morning. Doesn't have to be a full breakfast, just a little something. Could be a couple of bites of toast with a little bit of egg or some avocado. Could be a couple of spoonfuls of your protein oats. Anything, but don't fast in the morning and go and exercise. If you want to do some fasting, fast in the nighttime, not in the morning.